Hi guys, Tiffany here, and welcome to my quilting life. I'm trying to get this. It's echoes. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to go down here, that way, to the subscribe button. Hit that, and you'll get a bell that pops up. Hit that and get notifications when I'm on, because I just do live videos. So that's at it. So today, hi Susan. I'm watching from my phone, so if I look down this way, it's because I'm reading the comments. Today, I have decided on a whim, again, as always. Hi, Diane. I wrote another pattern for layer cakes. Yes, you guys know me. I'm definitely 100% all about writing easy, beginner-friendly patterns for pre-cuts. Something that's easy for me to, get to writing, obviously. So, yeah. Hi, Susan and Lacey. All right, guys. So today I designed a pattern, and I'm calling it Topple. You guys are going to love this one. This one's actually kind of fun. You remember, well, when I was a kid, I don't even know if they make the game anymore, but a lot of you might remember there was a game that was on a stand, and it had this square thing, and you put the little chips on it, and you try to stack them, and then they'd fall. That is kind of what the block to me reminds me of. So I decided to name what I'm making called Topple. So it's made from a layer cake, which is 10-inch squares, a typical pack. We're going to do the same as the last time I wrote a pattern. It's got to be a pack of 42 pieces. That way we can do 6 across by 7 down. So one layer cake is going to make, and I've already went ahead and did the math on this one, guys, and I'm hoping that my math is just as good as the last time and comes out correct. This one should come out 50 by 58, so lap size. But if you use 2 layer cakes and or use a solid and a print, so say you use a layer cake of prints and a layer cake of solid, obviously your quilt will become bigger. And actually, I don't have any solid that matches the layer cake I chose for this pattern, or else I would probably use a solid because it's going to make what we're making look awesome. So let me look and see what we got going on here. Hi, Vicky. Yes, Topple is a cute name. You're going to see why right now, because I made pre-blocks to give you guys an example of what we're making. So that way I had to make sure that the measurements came out correctly, and I was like totally pissed off when it didn't, but I figured it out. So we're going to make it work. Let's see. All right. You guys got your phone plugged in? You guys got all your devices plugged in and charged, or fully charged and just sitting around or watching from your TVs and computers? All right, guys. Let's see. All right. So I said hi to everyone, I think, so far. All right. So this is what we are making today. Check out these cute blocks. This is why I called it Topple, because of that darn game. It looked like a tower. I don't know why I can't hold these up together. Stay up. Here's one, and here's the other. I made these with just 2 colors because I didn't feel like cutting up anything. I like to practice with my junk. So this is what I'm making. So it reminds me of that game. Obviously, it would be upside down this way because the game was a big square on the top, but it looks cool. So it's a good name. So this is made with layer cake. You guys see that? All right, so let me get to showing you guys how this is done. Yes, it is cute, and that's why we're going with this whole layer cake. That's why I said 2 colors would be absolutely adorable. And the fun thing about this is there's going to be no seam lining up at all in the block. So that is a good thing. I'm going to grab up a pair of scissors because this is a brand new, fresh layer cake. So we are going to make another lap size quilt. Okay, so I decided to go with a layer cake that has a lot of color, high definition colors for this to work. So there's really dark pieces with roosters on it, and there's probably like 4 or 5 of each color. Then there's little bees, or I don't even know, maybe these are moths, I'm not sure, but they're super cute. It's blacks, greens, oranges, got little teapots with flowers coming out. At least that's what it looks like to me. And we got some stripes, which almost kind of looks like quilt material because it has little squares in it. Looks like strip piecing almost. Then we have, there's quite a few of each block. That's why I chose this layer cake. And then we have pieces that have triangles in them. So that is why I chose this one, because I was making, you know, this block, and I decided, well, you know, these pieces look great. Here's some more roosters, but with purple and yellow. Super cute. And this line, this piece I got at Tuesday morning, so I don't know if you guys' Tuesday mornings carry the same ones exactly that mine do, but that's where I got this. And then here's some more of the bugs, but in a different color. They got to be bees because it's with flowers. And then another color with the triangles, the greens and yellows. And some more purple roost. And that's it. So I'm going to start pairing these up in pairs of 2. Pairs of 2s. That is what we're doing here. So let's see. These are the same. These are the same. I'm going to put all the same piles together, but I'm not going to put every 2 together that's exactly the same either. I'm going to try to mix them up a little. Although it would look super cute either way because it all coordinates, honestly. And I'm just going to make a big mess up here on my table for now. And I'm going to start pairing them up in 2s. And obviously you want to pair them up in contrasting. Is this the same as that one? This is, but bigger. Holy moly. These 2 prints on these ones are the same, but one is bigger than the other print. So that's smaller, bigger scale. So that's kind of cool. Anyway. All right. So I think I'm going to start with pairing these 2 together because they look great together. And I'm just going to just stack them over here. Pairs of 2. And let's put these 2 together. And this one's not going to matter if you have directional fabric because everything kind of goes back the way it was in the first place in reality. This is why I said you can use a solid and or coordinating fabric that goes with the fabric line because it'll work out perfect. And it'll look super darling cute. Let's put these 2 together because they look good together. Obviously, these 2 together. And we'll put this one with this one. So I'm just going to make a bunch of stacks of 2s. That way they're all different. Can't forget that I have this blue. I'm trying not to put the same blues with the same whatever. I kind of don't think it really matters though, but as long as they're 2 different prints, this will look super cute either way. Ooh, I got gypped a piece. You see that, guys? I'm going to have to break into my stash and try to find one piece that's, I'm actually going to count them because maybe there was 40 here or 42, but well, those don't coordinate together. I'll put this one with this one. See, those don't go together right. This one with this one with this one. I gotta have to count these. By the time I get through all these piles of 2, we'll see how this works out. Put these 2 together. I'll end up with 1 if it's messed up. Those 2. Those 2. If I have an even number, then it's okay. Look at this purple with that one. Oh, look, I got an extra piece then. So I either got gypped or I got an extra, and it looks like I got an extra because I have an even amount. And place these right here. I can't see comments. Just let me grab my phone. I can see. All right. We'll know by the time I get to the end, but there's plenty of piles of 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack these on top of each other. And if you're using directional fabric, this is the time to put it in the direction that you want it to be. And these have pinked edges, so they're not always exactly 10 inches, but we're going to work with it, you know. Okay. So I'm going to lay these right here. I'm just putting them on a line for now, but it really doesn't matter. This project we need a pencil for, guys. So this one, we are going to take a ruler and we're going to mark the center. We're going to do it from the top. There's no big deal on drawing on the fabric because that's going to get cut. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to come over 5 inches and I'm going to find my center. Let me see if this block is made from the outside. Nope, it's made from the inside of the pinking. So I'm from the inside of the pinking going to come over 5 inches. Find that little inside mark right there and right there. And I'm going to draw a little line just right here, just a little notch at the top that I can see at my 5 inches. And then what I'm going to do, I actually didn't even need to use that ruler for that part. Just going to throw it out of the way. What I'm going to do, here's the fun part, the math part that you got to remember, the number. 1 inch from the side that you're going to cut. So I'm going to start, I know you guys can see right here, from my left hand, 1 inch in. So I'm going to line my ruler up on the 1 inch mark down here at this corner. And then at the top, I'm going to put the top of the ruler at that little line that I just made with the pencil. And you can use an erasable, if you guys, you know, want an erasable water erasing thing. You know what I'm trying to say. But I'm going to come over at this bottom. And you don't have to remember these numbers. I'm going to attempt to write the pattern afterwards and do the same thing as I did last time. So coming over 1 inch, and I'm using the inside of the pinking for this whole project because I just have to remember that. Normally I wouldn't, but because this is for you guys. All right, I'm going to come over 1 inch, and I am going to line that top up, and I am going to slice it. Then this is where you need a rotating mat. If you are not both-handed with cutting. I am using both hands like always. Now I'm going to come over to the other side and 1 inch at the bottom. I'm going to line it up the inside of my pinking, and I'm going to line the top of the ruler up at that notch that I made with the pencil. And if I could keep it nice and straight. If you have a little Lazy Susan cutter, just spin it around to do the opposite side. You will just be lining it up from the bottom instead of the top, but you're still coming 1 inch away from that outer edge. So what you will get is these 3 pieces. So just like my last pattern, take that top piece, put it on the bottom, and put the bottom piece on the top. We're going to come back over here with all my pieces. I'm going to keep them in order, like so. And we're going to sew these together, and I'll show you how. Tiff, your new meds seem to be helping you. You seem to be in a good mood. Actually, I'm not on any meds at all. Today, actually, the medication came in, so I start it today, but I have to eat with the medicine, so I will be starting it later. Other than that, I'm not on any meds right now, which is good. I did med-free for years, and this was my therapy, and this in the pool, I'm good. I just have really bad flare-ups, that's all. So I'm going to take, as you guys just saw, sorry I was doing that without, okay? So remember, I reversed the pieces. So I'm going to take the top center section and this furthest piece right here, and I'm going to right sides together, and I'm going to take this top point of this one and this bottom point, and I'm going to line them on the points, just like so, lining them up. So it should look a little funky like this. You guys can see that on the screen. It'll look a little funky. And I'm just going to turn it around and sew from this end a 1/4 inch seam from this bottom to the top. Trim my thread, and I'm just going to every single piece finger press towards the outer piece. That way it lines up better and won't have as much bulk right here at the top. So now that that is on, now we're going to grab the piece to the right, which is the other one, the matching piece to the original. We're going to put that right sides together, and it's at an angle. And now, since we pieced it, we have that little top point. It kind of lines up, you know, next to it. Don't go too high. And this bottom point is going to line up. We're going to sew these together. My little foot thing gets stuck on anything that sticks out past it, so that's why you saw me do that. Now, my foot pedal's falling. I'm going to press this seam also away from the center. So you're going to get a block that looks like this. It should be 9 inches wide by 10 inches long. And I'm just going to set that out of the way and repeat the process. So I'm going to take this center one. You can do it from one side or the other. It just depends on what direction you're used to sewing. Line up the top corner and line up this little bottom right here, the points, and sew. Again, I'm going to press with my finger for now the seam out away from the center triangle that you created. Or I don't even know, that's more like a, I don't know, just a triangle, I guess. Grab the next one, put it on the other side, just like this, and sew down this side with a 1/4 inch seam. What I'm talking about with that little piece that keeps grabbing is the little piece that I just pressed away. That's what's getting snagged up under my 1/4 inch foot. But I didn't want to switch out my feet. And I'm going to press this out. Now we're going to iron it real quick because we want this to be nice and flat. And I have decided I made this big, huge mess over here. It should also be in stacks of 2, though. And I'm going to press it real quick. Gotta give my iron a second to warm back up, though. I'm just going to start throwing these up here out of my way for now. While I wait for the iron to get warm, like I said, this one's going to be super fun, guys, especially when we lay it out, because there's fun ways that you can do it. And nothing is going to line up when it's laid out either. It'll be all wonky, which I like. I like wonky. I like madness. I like crazy. And that is why this is being called Topple. All right, sounds like it's warm enough. We're going to press these. Now that since I finger pressed, it should lay perfectly flat, but you can add some steam. And I'm going to bring the block close so you guys can see what I'm going to be talking about in a second. All right, so here's what it looks like so far. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but see how at the bottom it's sticking out just a little bit beyond? Every piece is going to do that. No matter which way it's sewn on, it always seems to either stick out at the top or stick out at the bottom. So the top should be straight. The bottom should have a little, if that happens, don't freak out. That little piece is going to stick out, but we're going to fix that right now. So now we're going to align these 2 pieces up. You can do them one at a time. I'm just going to do both. Line them up and flatten them out. And I'm going to lay them where the center of this piece, not the pieces that are hanging out, but the center, on a line. They should line right up. If they don't, use your fingers to smoosh the fabric to the side. And I'm going to just trim those 2 little end pieces off both sides real quick. That's all I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten the ruler up. Just trim that little end and that little end should line right up with that centerpiece. So all you're doing is trimming those little dinky pieces off. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm not actually paying attention to the comments because I'm trying to make sure I get everything correctly told to you guys. All right, so now what we're going to do, and again, if you have a rotating mat, that's probably the best thing. I'm going to line this way, actually. Keep them nice and flat. I should have did it this way in the first place. Is I'm going to line up on the 2.5-inch line at the bottom of my block. And I'm going to make a cut. And then I'm going to move it just slightly out of the way. And I'm going to come up 1.5 inches. So 2.5 is the first cut. And then come up a little bit more to 1.5 inches. And cut that. The only thing you need to do here is take the centerpiece and put that on the bottom. But do not make the mistake I made with my first one and turn any of those pieces, because if you turn them, you're going to get them completely out of order, and you don't want to do that. So now I'm just going to turn this whole thing around to my sewing section. Don't do what I'm doing. Obviously, it should be facing the correct direction of your cutting, or you can rotate it around on your little mat thing. So now my pieces are next to me, and we're always sewing on the sides that we just cut. So you don't have to worry about anything. You're sewing always on the side that you have just cut. So I'm going to take this top piece. I'm going to take my little middle piece, put it next to it, and you may think it's going to line up, but it won't. It's not going to line up, and don't worry if it doesn't, because it's not supposed to. It is supposed to look like it's toppling, it's falling over. It's not going to be lined up. It may look like the seam will, but it's not. Now we're going to sew 1/4 inch down this one. And I'm just going to, for now, finger press this down so that I can keep it. Grab this bottom piece. Bring it up here to me. Look to make sure it's not turned around, because you can see you can turn it around and make that wide part, and you don't want that. You got to make sure you're sewing only the side that you just cut. And we're going to line this up. And we're not matching any seams, so you don't have to worry about any nesting or anything like that. Sewing down that. And again, I'm just going to use my fingers to press it for now, and then throw it over on the ironing board while I do the next one. I'm going to grab that top piece. So the side that I cut is the side that I'm sewing on. You'll still see your pinking edge, your pinked edge on the top. The next piece in the middle, make sure it's an accurate position. And I'll do as many blocks as I can, by the way, while I'm live today. But I am going to try to stop at an hour because I have things to do and food to eat. So that way this will just be a more than one part video, but at least you guys will get a pattern to be able to do out of it with a layer cake. Definitely gives ideas. All right, now I'm going to grab this bottom one. Now again, I'm just going to flip it up on here. No seams to match. It looks like it wants to match, but it's not going to. Now, there's one thing I do have to say that I learned when I made the other blocks, is that you can press on the back side. The best way is to press those two middle seams facing in, okay? But that's going to be done when I get to the iron by pressing this bottom piece first, you know, to fold that one back, because or else it doesn't seem to want to stay. So just give me a second and let me press these two pieces, and I'll show you what I mean. I always press from the top, and then I look on the bottom if a seam is not going a certain way, and press it if I need to, but it's pretty good. So I'm going to lay that here so you guys can see. I'm going to just do this next one. So the seams are finger pressed, which helps the pressing at the iron work much better. But they lay flatter if you press both the seams in towards that middle piece. All right. So here are the two blocks. And the cool part about these blocks is the contrast, obviously, for one. And secondarily, when you're going to sew these blocks together, from that point up, look how much space you're going to have. So you will never chop that point off the whole entire project. That point will always be a perfect point because of the way it's set in like that. So here's these fun little blocks. They should measure 8. So this is the funny part that doesn't line up, and I know it sounds weird. They should measure 9 inches by 8 3/4 inches. Don't ask me how that happened, but that is how it's been happening all of my attempts so far. Where'd my big square go? Aha, it's over here. But we're going to look anyway, because maybe these ones came out better. Oh, look, these ones are 9 inches by, what's that notch before after 3/4 is 7/8. I'm just going to trim them down probably at the end when I'm completely done. That's 9. This one came out 9 7/8, almost 7/8. So they don't always come out perfect, but in the end, we're going to trim them anyway. For now, I'm just going to make them all. Get where I'm going here. So here's 2 down. We're going to do more. Give me a second. I'm going to throw the rest of these over here. That way I can just start doing them quick. I don't know how fast this one will go together, but if I quit lollygagging, teach them little by little, then I'm pretty sure I can get them done pretty quick. But like I said, if it has to be a 2-part, then it'll be a 2-part. So, as long as all my pairs are together, let's do these ones. I want to see what this is going to look like, these 2 pairs together. But like I said, if you do this with a light and a dark, it's going to be super cute. Or a solid, I mean, and a print. Oh, this one's directional. I want this one to stay directional. This one's going to be cute. I just know it. See, some of these were stretched on the bias. You can tell, and they just like aren't laying correctly. But that's okay. That's probably why they're turning out the way they turn out every time. All right. I'm going to come over and mark again. I'm going to do the whole directions all over again. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to come over 5 inches from the inside of my pinking on this. You guys, if you're cutting your own 10-inch squares, just remember your center. You can even fold it in half and get your center if you want. And I'm just going to mark right here at the top with my pencil. And I can see that. And I'm going to come at the bottom 1 inch in from that bottom left and 1 inch in from the bottom right. Cut up to the center. So from the bottom left, I'm going to come in 1 inch right there. Put my mark up in the center like so. Make a cut. If you have a turntable, please use it. Because if you're not left-handed and right-handed or whatever, then one cut is going to be harder than the other. So again, just cutting up towards the center, 1 inch from that edge at the bottom. Line that out of the way. I'm going to move them just like this. I'm going to take that middle piece, put it on the bottom, bring the whole project over for me to sew. All right, let me look at some comments real quick if you guys don't mind. I'll take a second to do that. You guys have talked it a lot. Holy moly. All right, Diane, I'll send you that Layercake madness in the email. If any of you are having trouble opening the Layercake madness quilt pattern, just send me an email so that I have your email to reply to it. Because for some reason, some are opening on some devices because it has an option to choose open with PDF or open with Adobe or open with whatever, and some devices don't. So just send me an email that says, please send me and I'll put the link in there because the email ones are opening every time. So just let me know if you guys have a problem with that. The Layercake Madness pattern, just like I said, it's the same thing. You guys are asking about it. It's in the quilt group, but there's also the video for it for those of you that are new. And don't forget, those of you that are new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can get notifications when I'm on, because my videos are live feed. Everything I teach is live feed because I have issues when it comes to using editing programs. I am not good at it at all. Like at all. All right, back to this. Since you guys were pretty much talking to each other. Just making sure. All right. Again, I just grabbed the middle, big, huge triangle and the outermost piece, right sides together. I'm aligning the corners, just the pin corners at the end. If I moved it up or moved it down, for some reason it still don't align, and the top ends up missing a piece or the bottom ends up missing a piece. So I tried this a bazillion times, let me tell you. So just line it up from the tip to the tip. It's a better, it comes out better this way anyway. So 1/4 inch seam down the side that you cut. We only sew the sides that we cut. And I'm pressing, finger pressing for now. Remember, this is all now on the bias, so it's very stretchy. I'm finger pressing everything away from the center every time I add a piece. So I'm going to add this next one. These two probably aren't as contrasting as I would have hoped for, but I'm going to make it work. Definitely something that shows off the fabric still, because it's still pretty big pieces and pretty big chunks. So I'm just going to finger press that for now. I'm going to grab this next one, bring it over to me, right sides together. Again, I'm just aligning the tip of this triangle with the tip of the top of that. If you were to, I'm going to show you right now, if you were to mess this up by turning it around, that wasn't your cut side. You get where I'm going here? So you guys always are sewing the sides you just cut. So if you just cut those two sides, those are the two sides you're sewing. So there's no way to screw this up at all. That's why this pattern will be easy for me to get on a thing. It'll probably be only one page. It's quite simple. But definitely beginner friendly, and it doesn't even look beginner friendly, if that makes any sense. Because now it has angles and it's not just a flat piece, you know. All right, I'm going to grab that next one. Again, I'm just the side that I cut, so you would know if it was the wrong side. It's the side that you cut. We're going to line that up, line that bottom piece, line the top up, 1/4 inch seam, all the way down. Making sure it stays lined up on my way. Don't forget to like my videos and share them with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe. And in the description below, there's always links to social media on how to contact me and stuff. All right, let me give these a press. Just going to lay them on here. Since I finger pressed, it makes it so much easier. They're already laying nice and flat. All it's doing is pressing down this little top tip, making it nice and flat. And I'm going to just do it from this side now. I'm just going to line these up. So those little notches that are sticking out on the bottom, see how it's not flat? It's sticking out on both sides. We're just going to trim those pieces off, like they're dog ears in a way, you know, like you would with any other block that has dog ears. These are the dog ears on this one. So I'm going to take my ruler and just cut those two things off real quick on both sides. On that side, I didn't want to cut because I wasn't holding my rotary cutter needs new blades. Okay. Those little pieces. Now, again, we're going to, from the bottom of the block, not from the top, from the bottom of the block, we're going to come up 2.5 inches. And we should have a nice straight line now. Now we just trimmed those little edges off. That is just the same of a guide. We're going to come over 2.5. I'm going to pull it out of the way just a little bit so I can see, because I'm using my pink ruler so I can see better. And we're going to come up 1.5 inches more. So lining it up on the 1.5 inch line. Measure twice, cut once. Because for some reason, I'm having issues keeping my ruler nice and flat today. All right. Before I even move them, I'm just going to stick these down here with me. I'm going to take that middle piece, put it on the bottom, and sew them together. So I'm just going to grab the top and grab the next one. They should still be in the same order. Yep, and it's correct. It would line up. It looks like it lines up. If it looks like it lines up, then that's the correct order. And it's going to want to press inward anyway. Like I said, it's best if the two seams. Oh, I think that's what I missed showing you guys. When we press it, those two seams need to be pressed in. So this top one goes in and this bottom one goes in. Make sure they're in because it makes the block lay flatter and there's less bulk in this little section right here. Because that's only 1 inch now. 1 inch, I should say 1 inch. It's only 1 inch. All right, grabbing the bottom one now, laying it on here. No seams to match. It looks like it, but they don't. Again, I'm just going to finger press it for now. Just lay it over there on the ironing board. Grab my next piece and the next one. So if it looks like it lines up, that's correct. If it's this way, you'll know it's wrong because it looks like a sailboat. So you'll know it's wrong. So right sides together. 1/4 inch seam on the sides that you cut. Gonna finger press it in, grab that next piece, make sure it's correct, right sides together, and sew it on. And I'm sorry that the patterns are not written prior to the video, but I have a lot of time on my hands to sew. I don't have a lot of time on my hands to write. If someday I could have someone write the patterns for me, that would be amazing. Because I don't want to write. I want to sew. I want to be the sewer, not the writer. I mean, obviously I write it. I design it. I want to sew it. All right, let me press these. These ones don't have as much contrast, but it still looks super cool. Press from the top. Look at the bottom. Make sure those seams are nice and flat on the inside. And it should be. Shouldn't have any folds or anything in it. Should be nice and flat. And here are the next two. So you can tell that there's two different fabrics, obviously. I kind of like it because the whole triangles with it. Looks really cool. But then I like wonky. You guys know that. All right, so those are out of the way. Let's grab 2 more. I already did one with these. Let's do a different color for now and see what it looks like. Let's do these two. Okay. So again, I'm going to see if this has got enough charged. Oh, good. It does. That way I can take it off and actually read while I'm working. All right, guys, you need a virtual assistant to write them for you. Yes, exactly. I need something like that. All right, I'm going to line the next two up. And you guys could actually do this in stacks of more than one, obviously, more than 2 pieces if you want. It's just easier if you just do 2 pieces at a time. That way you don't get anything mixed up. We're going to come over and mark 5 inches in with the pencil. And I'm doing mine from the inside of the pinking. And if you guys don't know what pinking is, for those of you that are new, see those zigzags? That's pinking. When I say from the inside of pinked edges, I'm going from the inside. So instead of the outside of this, I'm going to the inside part. That's where I'm measuring from. Those of you that are new to quilting and hanging out and watching and learning. So that way you know. So I'm going to mark right here, which just so happens to be right here at the edge of this black. So I can kind of see the line. My next part is coming over an inch in from the bottom left. And then again, inch in from the bottom right. I was at the wrong inch line. I'm a retard right now. All right. And then we're going to line the top part of the ruler up with the line that we just marked. An inch from the bottom and the line we just marked. And again, if you have a rotating mat, that would probably be the best bet for you. I'm going to cut that in. I'm going to come to the other side. I'm going to line that center up on the line and down here at 1 inch in from inking. Hold my ruler down. Can't wait to get a new blade. This thing is going so dull I can barely cut through 2 layers. Again, we're going to take this middle piece, put that in the bottom, bring the other one to the top. Ooh, that's going to be cute. Super cute. I like purple. Purple is my favorite color. Pink is my second favorite, and black combines the two. So, all right, guys. All right, we're going to do this again. So I'm going to take those first 2 pieces, the side that we just cut, that's cut side, not anything else. Don't sew anything else together. Right sides together. It looks funny when you put it right sides together. As you can see, it makes this weird, funky shape. I'm going to line that tip up there, line this bottom tip down here, and sew a 1/4 inch seam. If you don't sew a 1/4 inch seam, this block will come out at a super funky size. I have a 1/4 inch specialty foot that has like a built-in little line thing on it, so they always come out at a 1/4 inch. All right, I'm going to grab that next one and put that on. And you can press in between each step if you want. That's personal preference. I don't ever really bother. I'm a finger presser. Makes it easier for me to just finger press and then go to the iron once everything's done. Normally I chain piece a whole project anyway. This one, I mean, you could chain piece the whole thing if you pre-cut everything and then just put them all in a big, huge stack of the order that you want them in. All right, put that out of the way. Grab this one. And like I said, also don't forget anything that's directional, put it in the direction you want before you cut it. And then it'll be in that direction. So if you want, like what I have right now, my striped pieces going one direction, it actually looks really cool. Going one direction. Yeah, that's because I went share happy. I know I was in the groups on Facebook and I noticed that, you know, people ask questions all the time and I try to, you know, comment and post and stuff as often as I can. And I noticed a lot of people are beginners and ask for beginner friendly patterns. And I was like, well, I write beginner friendly patterns. I might as well just post my stuff. So I did. And I know it's weird to share my own personal stuff, but that's why I tell you guys to share. It's weird sharing my own stuff, but I did. So that's why the number went up, Sandy. All right, so far this is what it looks like. This one's super cute. You see that, how that stripe landed? Now we're going to cut the bottom and it's going to flip it, so it's going to even look a lot better than that. So we're going to press it. And for those of you who are new and wonder why all my videos are live streamed, it's hard to watch that, a lot of them, because they are long and I sit and chit chat a lot. But for those of you who are new and wonder, I don't do good with editing videos at all. I really suck at it. Nobody wanted to help me. None of my kids can help me. I just have one of those nobody is interested in my quilting kind of lives. So doing it myself takes away from this time that I could be sewing. And I don't know. it's just awkward for me. So what I ended up doing is just lives only, but you guys get the whole entire project in a video. So you get to see what it actually takes to put something together, which makes it 100% more easier to follow on my own. I wish I had that when I was a beginner, you know. I wish I was able to have full-on videos instead of just a little quick 10-minute tutorial, if that makes any sense. I like the 100% ask questions while we're there kind of thing. It's more personal. So I just trim those little pieces off. Remember, there's going to be 2 little notches at the bottom. Now I'm going to line up from the bottom, not the top of this triangle, which is what I'm going to call it, but from the bottom of it, 2.5 inches. And since I just cut a nice straight line, it lines up even better than my pinked edge. It is perfect. I'm going to move it out of the way just a little so that I can get the 1.5 inch line nice and straight. All right. Again, this top piece goes in the middle. So this is what it's going to look like, just like that. So I'm going to turn this whole thing around. Again, having a lazy Susan, or even, here's an idea. If you have an extra mat, of course, if you have a smaller one, you don't need this size one, but if you have an extra mat, use that so that you can just turn that around, if that makes any sense for those of you who can't cut both-sided. And that way you don't have to unalign anything. So there's definitely an idea right there. You guys look how I treat my mats. That one's my crappy one that I use to transfer things, by the way. So it's not really being treated too bad. All right, so I'm going to take this top piece. And remember, we're only sewing on the sides we just cut, so you can't get anything out of order or off. Line up that middle, so those should look like you never made a cut out of anything, you know, except for you swap the piece. Right sides together. Less expensive, save more money. Yeah, they have mats. Okay, so here's another one that I have. This one's kind of too small for 10-inch squares. This one's like, it's in centimeters, but I picked it up. It's little. I have a little Olfa one somewhere around here. I don't know where, but just even a little mat like this, because this one you can, you know, these little ones, you can just carefully turn it and none of your pieces are going to get out. If it's on the mat, it's fine, you know. That one I just keep at the other machine so I can trim little pieces as I'm working, you know what I mean? All right, so now I'm just going to finger press this inward towards the middle. Grab that bottom piece. Make sure it's correct, and it is. Obviously, the wider part should be on the bottom. Line up the ends. And if something don't line up, that means you cut something wrong, which would suck. So make sure you pay attention. All right, so there's one. Throw it over there for now. Grab the next one, make sure it's correct. There's going to be a super bright and cheery quilt like the last one. By the time I'm done, I'm going to be out of layer cakes, and I'm going to have to beg the husband to go let me buy more just so I could keep writing patterns. It kind of sucks. I mean, I could cut my own probably, but they're not going to match. It's all going to be super, super duper scrappy. Okay, so let's press this. It's a lot of purple here, but this is so pretty. Again, my seams are going towards the center, and I'll show you one more time. Make sure it's nice and flat. I like how this one turned out. And I always press with steam. That's personal preference. I know a lot of people don't use steam. They just use an iron, but you just do your own thing. As long as your center seam is pushed in so it lays flat. That is all that matters. All right. Here is the next two. Doesn't that look cool? So it's the opposite of it. I think it looks adorable. I don't know what you guys have to think, but these are going to be super cute. So I'm going to move these out of the way. Grab two more and keep going. So let's put these two together now. I'm going to use that purple on top because that way I can make sure that because I've got me a big, huge rooster right there. I want to make sure that he's somewhere in there and lines up just right. So they are nice and flat. I'm going to mark my center 5 inches in. I'm doing mine from the pinking. I'm going to keep saying that stuff over and over again so that way you guys know that these patterns will end up embedded in your head and you won't even need an actual paper pattern from me, if that makes any sense. All right, so now I'm going to, from the inch line, come over, line up 1 inch, and line up that top where I drew the line. I'm going to line it up on the inside of the pinking and make my first cut up to my little line that I made. Bring the ruler over, so now I'm using the opposite side of the ruler. Line it up on my 1 inch line at that bottom corner. And then line it up at the top where I just cut. Hold it on there. Make the cut. And then separate them. Take that top piece. Put them on the bottom. Bring all of it over here with me and sew. You're always sewing the sides that you just freshly cut together. So it's definitely going to help to have a lot of contrast between your colors. High values and light values. But I like what I'm doing. And either way, it's super cute. I don't care what anyone says. I will let you left laid out with this other squares. Well, I will show you all in as soon as I get enough squares made to lay them out. I want enough contrast between all the squares, you know what I'm saying? So that I can be able to show you guys what I envision. See, most of my patterns come from envisioning something. Like I told you, I draw inspiration from you guys posting things from other groups, from Pinterest, from Instagram, from Facebook, everywhere. I draw inspiration. I see something. And I don't recreate. I mean, I can recreate other people's stuff, but I say, oh, well, what would happen if I did this, added that, and cut that off? That's pretty much what I do in my brain. And it becomes something completely different. But I think of something, and if I don't do it, then it kind of never gets done. It gets put on a piece of paper and in a shelf, or it stays in my brain, and then nobody ever gets to see it. So like right now, I'm teaching because I'm inspired by what I have wrote down. My wonderful sketch on a piece of paper. And I try to do all the math stuff at first, but sometimes it never happens. But this time I did because of the way I had to cut the pieces. They were supposed to be 9-inch blocks because I'm taking away 2 seams, but I think this fold over is what messes it up. So... And I tried. I unpicked and sewed it together. Unpicked, sewed it together. You know, I just kept doing it over and over again, and it still was not coming out. So I guess this block is just meant to be 9 inches by 8 3/4 of an inch. Well, 8 7/8, pretty much. Somewhere between 3/4 and 7/8. But we'll square everything up. But you don't have to, technically, because they are all going to line up in rows anyway. But if you want to do what I saw in my brain, then Topple for the pattern name, then you would know why I need them all to be the exact same size. But for now, I'll be able to lay it out and show you mostly. All right, so let's get these two pressed. So sometimes this is going to happen. I'll show you right now. This one did it, but this one did not do it. My little top piece ended up a little bit taller because I didn't align it like I told you. You guys got to make sure those two tips go together exact, because if you don't, it messes it up, but not too much. So because those two tips weren't exactly, see, one's taller than the other, we don't want that to be taller. We're trying to keep the top of this block super straight except for this little peak from the dog ears. So just watch that. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to line it up as if it's the same as the other one. So it's kind of going to stick up above it. And I'll still trim that little piece off on the bottom. It's not as big this time on this one, but you got to watch that. That's why I said just line those two tips up. Don't worry about anything else, because there's no other way to line this up properly, you know. Unfortunately, there's no other way. I mean, you could do one piece at a time, but little one stuck in there. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to cut again 2.5 inches from the bottom. After I sew these, I'll lace them out here on the table. Pull these away 1.5 inches. Separate it, take that middle, bring it to the top. Take all the pieces over here, keeping them in the correct position and order. This one looks like an owl. Just wait, I'll show you this piece. It looks like an owl. Well, I'll just show you now. Because the two hoop eyes. It's kind of cool. I like what's happening here. It's definitely my style. Better lay down so that I can get some stuff done. That sure does look like an owl, right? Just let the dogs out. All right, bottom piece. Remember, and I'm finger pressing into the middle because it lays so much flatter. Hey, Pamela, not late. You're here just fine. Who all do we got here today? Say here so that I know who's here. Because I'm having a hard time. I have to scroll to read the whole conversation. And I know you guys are talking amongst yourselves because I'm teaching something new here today. So we got Teresa, Susan, Becky, Diane, Sandy, there's 16 people watching. There's got to be more than those guys here. That's okay if you're just a watcher and not a talker. It doesn't bother me. As long as you're subscribed to my channel. How's that? I don't mind. Pamela's here, but I just said hi to Pamela, so I knew she was here. We got Susan here. All right. Like I said, not bothered by watchers. As long as you're learning something, you're subscribed to my channel, you can at least hit the thumbs up, though. Even if you're not talking, you can hit the thumbs up. Oh, and a new thing I'm going to attempt is I'm going to try not to name all my videos days of the week. So if it's a new pattern, it's a new pattern. Instead of naming it a day of the week like I used to and then write in parentheses new pattern. So here's my little hoot owl. Oh, that one's cute. They like turned out perfect, or they could be Hooters. I know, silly, right? And there's the opposite one. Okay, so let me line some up here on the table real quick. And sorry that just happened. That was probably super duper loud. That was my microphone flying across the room. All right, let's grab a couple and show you right here. So we'll take that one, that one. Right now they're not trimmed down, obviously, guys, so that's going to make it a little bit different. I'm going to put this one here. So I don't want this whole straight line thing. The topple comes in turning. So each piece will go one up, one down, one up. They're kind of big, so it's hard for me to stick them here. One up, one down, one up, one down. And then the next row will go the same. One up. I'll put this one there. One down, one up, one down. Just like so. So, I mean, we don't actually have to trim the blocks down, because if they are laid out like this, one up, one down, the dimension, as long as you're not turning the block this way, the dimension don't change. It's going this way. So every single one of these blocks are all 8 3/4, 8 7/8 this way and this way, so that when you go to attach this way, they're going to be exactly the same. They should match up, because each individual piece is 9 inches this way, if that makes any sense. So that was the idea. So there's no seam matching, only these pieces. So once I get all these pieces made and get them together, you guys will see. And actually, I was just looking at this now and I'm thinking, wonder what black sashing would look like, or purple or blue. But we'll see. We're going to lay it out, but this is the idea. One up, one down. We wouldn't even have to do any trimming. You know what I mean? They would all be the same. It would just change the measurement of the quilt by like probably not even 1/4 of an inch, honestly. All right, so I'm just going to make my stack and throw them over here. Let's see, I've been on an hour, so I'll get off now and just keep making them. So you guys pretty much got the idea of what I'm doing here, right? All right. Oh, hi, Sonia. I didn't even see that you were here. Where am I at? Where am I at? Amanda, hello. Got Pamela. Okay, hold on. Got Lacey here. I'm trying to scroll slow now. I scrolled up too high. Sonia. Okay, Sonia's leaving. Susan, oh man, Suburban Hillbillies here. Hello. Just the chat off because of the migraine. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I know exactly what it's like to have migraines. I get them all the time. All right. Sonia, Pamela. All right, guys. Purple would be nice, yeah. Well, obviously, the block itself is topple. The pattern of this whole entire thing put together is topple because the blocks are toppling. So what you guys would do with it, if you make it, you can sash anything, because I have sashed projects that weren't sashed and they look actually better than the original. So, I mean, it's up to you. Obviously, you do 2 layer cakes, so it's 2 different colors as well. There's many options with this one. You can flip the pieces around even more if you want, I guess. I don't know. I like it just the 2 colors only, because then it just makes it too busy if you move it around too much more. But I love to at least give you guys the general idea of it, and I will write it down. So yeah. Sash like the quote behind you. Oh, this one? Yeah. Just a thin little sashing. That would be cool. All right, guys. Well, I've been on here an hour, and I told you guys I have things I got to do. So, you know, and I got to get to bed early tonight. I have lots to do tomorrow, like lots to do, even though I have insomnia, and I probably won't be able to sleep. So I thank you guys for joining me for this new one. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope all of you guys want to make the Topple block because it's fun and I like cutting it. And don't forget, you need some kind of way to move around. If you can't cut two-handed, make sure you do safely. Make your blocks safely and don't cut yourself. So other than that, don't forget, if you're new, hit that subscribe button and the bell will come up. You'll get notifications when I'm on because I do live videos. Don't forget, thumbs up and share my videos. As well as, I don't know, I come on whenever I come on. So you guys will probably see me more this week than any other week you've ever seen me. So just letting you know that. Other than that, have a good night, everyone. Bye. Ta-ta for now, everyone. I'm trying to find the button and talk at the same time.